Well, it looks like Disney has decided to take all the bad press it's recently had in March, which included Victoria Alonso being fired, all the Jonathan Majors problems, and the firing of Ike Perlmutter, and squash all that with a giant announcement, which sort of mirrors the announcement that Marvel would be bringing Spider-Man into the MCU that dropped just after 11 p.m. more than half a decade ago. And this time, they wanted to make a statement, as Disney and Sony have both announced, with once again a co-joint press release, that Disney has officially agreed to buy Spider-Man back from Sony for $4.1 billion. Now, this isn't the only thing, because many people are probably wondering what happens with everything Spider-Man related that was being worked on by Sony. Well, they actually cover that in a statement. Sony will continue to be a partner for the next 5 years, which will include Amy Pascal staying on board to oversee Spider-Man as an executive producer in what they describe as a transitional period, which will see Sony continue to finish up the projects that are currently in development that have been announced and or cast. This includes Madam Web, the upcoming Kraven, Venom 3, and a few more films that are also in development, 2 which have not been announced, which are, and I quote, high-profile releases based on Spider-Man, end quote. Now, on top of this, the Spider-Man deal that's currently in place for Tom Holland will not be altered. Instead, it's just going to stay in place, where yes, Sony, for the duration of the next 5 years, is still attached and obviously going to be sharing some, well, what we can assume is monetary gain and everything like that during this transitional period, but Tom Holland's Spider-Man will continue to exist in the MCU, except now he can show up anywhere, and they state that in the actual press release. No longer is Tom Holland's Spider-Man limited to only be in what Sony authorizes. They could put him into anything if they see fit, and Spider-Man characters will in fact be showing up in other Marvel Studios projects going forward, so they're not limited to just Spider-Man appearances like previously, outside of the rare Infinity War appearance, which again was a very early point of contractual discussion, which obviously included Ned. So, I mean, it's about time, right? We've seen that there was a shifting landscape. We've talked about how this was more or less inevitable and gonna happen soon, and I think Sony's seen the writing on the wall with multiple live-action projects, and if you really look at it, the next couple of films they got in production, they're not going to deliver. So, Venom will deliver, next Spider-Man will deliver, but it will be co-produced. Any other film they put out will just hurt the brand more. So why not sell while you're ahead instead of sacrificing and then losing value and then having to sell for less down the road? It just makes sense, and honestly, I think now we're going to see adjustments. Do not be surprised if we see delays and Spider-Man being included in multiple upcoming projects, including reshoots for Kraven and, of course, Madam Web. So, here we are, boys. It's officially a done deal. Spidey, 100% back home.